Taipei Forum for Discussion and Learning. Today's topic is Wittgenstein's theory of language. So let me say something about Wittgenstein. Everyone today agrees that in the history of philosophy there are actually two Wittgensteins who worked in different times, but they were incorporated into one body. And they're usually referred to as early Wittgenstein and late Wittgenstein. And both of them wrote one book each. And the reason to call them early and late is because after he wrote the first book, like 10 years later, Wittgenstein started thinking that his attitudes in the first book were wrong. So he wrote another book. Well, Wittgenstein was born in a rich Viennese family in 1889, and he went to study in Berlin, and then he went to England at Manchester University, where he studied aeronautics. Is it correct? Or flying?
Aeronautics.
Kite. And then he started being interested in philosophy. So he moved to Cambridge and studied with Bertrand Russell, another famous philosopher in the 20th century. Soon after the World War I broke out, he went back to his country. And fortunately he survived, and he was captured as a prisoner of war. During these prison times, he started thinking on his first book, and he wrote his first draft there, and he wrote some letters to Russell. And eventually in 1922 he published in Latin is called Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, or a logical philosophical treatise. This book is about language, and he thinks that the whole world is consisted of facts. The world is facts, and the language is picture of the facts. So if we understand language as picture of facts, then we have a very important question. What about philosophy, religion, music, and all these kind of things? What is the language of philosophy, religion, and music, let's say? When you talk about what is good, or what is God, or what is beautiful, what's the fact behind this language, the picture? How can this language picture a fact? So he thought that philosophical language couldn't exist. So he said, whereof we cannot speak, we should pass it over in silence. But then, about 10 years later, he realized, he came to realization that these attitudes were wrong. So he wrote another book, which is called Philosophical Investigations, and he wanted this book to be published posthumously. And it was published after his death in 1953, 2 years after he died. So this speech is going to be about the second book, the late Wittgenstein, Philosophical Investigations. The speaker is Roman Zaitsev, my very good friend, PhD student of philosophy.
Thank you, Alexander. So I'd like to begin with the connection of, let's make this analogy. I came here to study Chinese. Suppose that I don't know any word of Chinese. And then I see, or let's make it, the Taiwanese guy will go to America to study English language, and he doesn't know any English language. So an American guy will point to the window and say, "There's a window." And the Taiwanese guy will say, "Oh, it's the same what in Chinese we call 窗户." And then American guy will point to the two windows and say, "There are windows." And the Taiwanese guy will say, okay, there are two windows. The plural form of window is windows. But what if we say windows? It's not that we point to the two these things. It's this famous computer software company. Can we use windows in different meaning? Yes, there's different meaning of windows. So look at another example. I can say my watch. My watch is very precise. It shows exact time. Yes, it's 8 o'clock, 9 minutes. It's pretty exact time. But what about a physician who construct an atomic clock? Will he be satisfied with my clock? No, because his clock is very precise. So we use the word exact or expression, exact time, in two different meanings. For me, it's one meaning, and for physician, the physics is another meaning. So the topic of what Wittgenstein investigated is the connection between meaning and its use. In his first book, let's say early Wittgenstein, he says there is a sign and there is a symbol. For example, there is a sign, this table, and the symbol, that the word that we can write, like in English, table, or a sound we can make, like table, like spoken or written sound. Later, Wittgenstein began to think that he had been mistaken in regarding the correlation because of the correlation of name in name object. He began to regard that this oversimplification of philosophy. That there's straight connection between the object, this table, and the word that I'm saying when I write. So, according to the late Wittgenstein, every meaning of the word relate to its usage. There are so many meaning of the words, then so many usage. The use of the word. We use the word in different situations, like obeying, giving orders, giving measurements, reporting an event. There's different, what he called language game. Language game is very important conception of Wittgenstein. So how the language game connects with each other, because there are so many language games, and Wittgenstein mentioned some of them, but of course he didn't mention all of them. And Wittgenstein tried to solve this problem with suggestion to the reader. He said, try to define the word game. How can we define the word game? Yeah, there is something like all the games have something in common, but there are also many different. There's, can we imagine that the serious chess player playing a game and the children who play in the park hide and seek? But everything is game. So the definition of the word game, which focuses on rules, we fall similar difficulties. Actually, Wittgenstein said that it's kind of impossible to define the word game, but we don't need the definition, because even without definition, we use the word game successfully. So everybody understands what we mean when we talk about playing a game, and we can ever clearly identify and correct inaccurate uses of the word without any references to any definition. So why we use the word? We need the word definitions. There is another very important term that Wittgenstein referred to is ostensive definition. Ostensive definition is like this: like what I began